whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Musk has given me his complete and total endorsement. I will create a government efficiency commission tasked with conducting a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and making recommendations for drastic reforms. As the first order of business, this commission will develop an action plan to totally eliminate fraud and improper payments within 6 months.
This is an order creating and implementing the Department of Governmental Efficiency, known as Doge.
That's a big one. I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency. Doge. Perhaps you've heard of it. By slashing all of the fraud, waste, and theft we can find, we will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families.
That is going to do more to unleash innovation, to unleash economic prosperity, when you don't have this crushing bureaucracy that answers to nobody sitting on top of the American people.
Well, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars of money that's going to places where it shouldn't be going. I ran on this, and the people want me to find it. And I've had a great help with Elon Musk, who's been terrific.
We are going line by line when it comes to the federal government's books. American taxpayers will see significant savings because of that effort.
These are systematic, programmatic reforms that we're talking about here.
People work their whole lives and pay taxes, yet they find out that they've been giving $2 million to Guatemala for sex changes. It's outrageous.
We've been overwhelmed with the positive response of Elon's effort. There's going to be so much savings because of what Doge is doing that you should be really, really excited about it.
I'm very proud of the job that this group are doing. They're doing it at my insistence. It would be a lot easier not to do it, but we have to take some of these things apart to find the corruption. We found tremendous corruption.
Okay, so welcome to a Saturday evening edition. I wasn't going to do a show today, and I was sitting around, and I'm like, yeah, we've done all the beaching, we've done the pool, we're done, and all right, let's do a show. Let's do a show, especially with what's happened yesterday, and as we're looking at the weekend, I just think we have to salute Elon Musk. We have to give props to what the Dogefather has done for America. And you saw the thumbnail I put up there, the Dogefather and the Don. To me, it's almost Mafiaesque, as they've had to take down the thugs across this country. And it's still going to be a fight, but I'm convinced Elon isn't going anywhere. They can have all the pomp and circumstances and everything else, but behind the scenes, Elon is going to be there. He has to be there. He has to keep fighting. You got to take these people down. And I just think we've just gone through Act 1 thus far. If you look at this entire thing as like a Shakespearean play, and most of you guys, well, not most, but many of you guys may know about what a 3-act play is. I think we've just gone through Act 1. And if we segment this out, Act 2 is going to be probably even bigger, even more adventurous than what we've seen thus far in Act 1. And then Act 3 is just going to be the culmination of everything. So strap on, get ready, because Act 2, I believe, is about to begin. I can't wait to see what happens next. I can't wait to see how it happens. Let me give you, I think President Trump gave us all a little insight to specifically what he sees coming or what you should see coming and what he plans on doing. And again, this guy drops comms like the best of them, and I want you to take this as a communication. Comms equals communication. Congratulations to Paul Ingrassia, Esquire, on being named to head the Office of Special Counsel. Remember yesterday, some people were saying, Barry, he's not a special counsel. No, he's a special counsel. The great Tom Homan just stated that we have now the most secure border in USA history. 3. And I'm wondering why he put all of this together. Interesting. The S&P just hit an all-time high. Okay. Number 4. Interesting. If Senator Rand Paul votes against our great big beautiful bill, he is voting for, along with the radical left Democrats, a 68% tax increase, and perhaps even more importantly, a first ever time default on U.S. debt. You know, I've been mentioning to you about the intended bankruptcy and the intended default and what that would actually mean, which is different than what the economists and the Democrats will tell you. And you have to wonder if he's putting this on Rand Paul's shoulders at this point. He's now beginning to say the word default. And I mentioned it to you on my show yesterday. Some of you guys questioned me, but now he's using that word over and over again. He's voting for first ever U.S. Default. Rand will be playing right into the hands of the Democrats, and the great people of Kentucky will never forgive him. The growth we are experiencing, plus some cost cutting later on, will solve all problems. America will be greater than ever before. So as you read that to yourself, or as if you read it along with me, there's something that you've got to begin asking yourself. Why is President Trump, number 1, why is he calling out Rand Paul? Number 2, why does he keep mentioning default? Yet at the same time, smiling and completely happy. He does not look worried whatsoever. So when everyone else is on television or on CNBC worried about, oh, we could never default, what happens if we do? Oh, well, the credit of the United States goes into pooper. As I've mentioned, who holds that debt? Who specifically do we owe? See, everyone's worried about what would happen instead of understanding it's right in front of you. Who in their right mind would cut off or be angry at the biggest consumer market in the world that generates more income, more money, more revenue than any other country in the world, except maybe, I don't know, Liechtenstein or something, Saudi Arabia. So how does it affect us? What if we didn't have to borrow any more damn money? Has anyone thought about that? What if we didn't have to borrow any more money? What if we were making so much damn money we didn't have to raise the debt ceiling? See, I think that's what part of Act 2 is going to be all about. I think Act 2 is now going to expose some of these things that many of us have been wondering. And many of us who haven't been wondering are now starting to understand. Yeah, why do we keep raising the debt ceiling? Borrow more money to give it away. That's the stupidest thing ever. You would never do that. I want you to go to your bank tomorrow. I want you to borrow $1,000, on Monday rather, and I want you to take that $1,000 that you borrow, and I want you to hand it to your next door neighbor. And then tell your next door neighbor, don't worry about it. You don't ever have to pay me back. I'll just borrow some more if I need it. I'll borrow some more if my neighbor across the street needs it. And you go back the following Monday and like, listen, I need another $1,000. For what? I got to give it to my neighbor across the street. Now you owe $2,000 and you haven't gotten anything for it. Am I far-fetched, or have you seen that play out right now? That we are spending money across the globe, or have been, for programs we don't even know they exist. We've been spending money out of our treasury on things we don't even know who's getting it. We've had 100 million people on Social Security and different programs who don't even exist. We've got tens of millions of newcomers that we're paying who aren't contributing, for the most part, back to the country. Why do we have to borrow? What exactly are we borrowing for? We had Wally the Nigerian rubber stamping any invoice that came through. Here, go ahead and pay it. Don't care. As Elon Musk has said, we had the 20 million subscriptions to various different softwares and things, and we didn't even use. We have credit cards in people's names who we don't even know. And so if you pull all this together, maybe I don't need to borrow any money. Maybe I don't need to raise the debt ceiling. Maybe I can tell you and you and you to go pound sand. We're going to file bankruptcy. Let's start all over. Let's have the great reset everybody wanted. It's just not the great reset that they wanted. Let me ask you a question. How would a bankruptcy, and what does a bankruptcy do? It helps you to get back on your feet again. It pushes the bills that you're never going to be able to pay for. For some reason, the Democrats found it was okay to pay off the student loans. Hey, they don't got to pay it no more. Well, why is it that we were ready to forgive $1 gazillion in student loans? Think about it. Joe Biden and the Democrats had no problem forgiving $1 gazillion of student loans. Well, if you had to pay that money back to somebody, wouldn't you care? Or is it just a line item on a piece of paper? Are you just erasing it? Let's just erase this like $100 gazillion like it never happened. Well, how did you give it to him to begin with? Thinking about this stuff? They were okay with doing that, but they're not okay with doing this. They're okay with telling every medical company in the world, hospital, doctor's office, hey, we're going to erase medical debt. Where's this eraser coming from? How are you just going to take that off of people's credit reports? Nope, we're not going to worry about medical debt anymore. So it's okay to just make debt go and vanish in thin air. People aren't talking about this. Who borrowed the money? You owed the money. You went to the doctor. You got an operation. Yes, they charge you exorbitant costs, but somehow now they're just going to erase it like it never happened. That's interesting. I didn't know we could do that. You can't. I can't. If you owe money, they're going to call you, they're going to mail you, they're going to do everything, they're going to garnish your wages, going to do everything. But the government can just take the giant eraser and just, it doesn't exist anymore. I don't get it. Somebody please explain it to me. Somebody explain to me, if it's okay to erase debt, why are we paying $36 trillion gazillion in deficit debt and everything? Why are we doing it? Why don't we take that same big ass eraser and just go, guess what? We don't owe this anymore. Since it's okay. I'm telling you. We're going to get into some of this stuff tonight, but I just wanted to bring that up. And before we start Shirtgate again, I don't want to go into Shirtgate. Yes, I'm wearing a different shirt. I don't have my white shirt. This is a greenish blue shirt because Robin and I were out, and she went, I'm not going to tell you where she went, but we were out, and so I had on a different shirt. And I'm like, hey, listen, go live. Where's your shirt? Oh, it's in the closet. I took the other one I had on yesterday to the cleaners. And I didn't feel like breaking out a new one, so I just came on. So no, I'm still going back to the white shirt. It's still going to be what I wear all the videos, but it's Saturday. It's a chill day. Let's all just chill. And yes, I am going to do a Rumble jump over tonight. I think that'll be fun. I have a theme to both sides of the Rumble jump over. I don't know how long it'll last, but we'll have some fun. And of course, if you want to prepare, that'll be the Rumble jump over link. Rumble May 31, which is today. I'll tell you what the theme of it is. The theme of it is Elon's gone. I was looking for that Hall & Oates song. She's gone. But I was like, nah, that's too mellow. I don't want to go that mellow. So we got some Gone songs to begin with. And then on the outside, I'll explain to something that's very dear to my heart. As this is the 31st of May. And not next week, tomorrow starts the month of Robin. Her birthday is in June, so I spend the month of Robin showering my wife with all kinds of goodies. Some small, some not so small. So she gets a month of her birthday celebration. I call it the month of Robin, so I'm going to kick it off with where it began back in 1993. We'll see that when we get into Rumble Jump Over if you want to meet me over there. Speaking of, making the wife happy, making yourself happy. In case you guys don't know, I have a new sponsor called Juvenon. And Juvenon is, let me just say this. If you're feeling tired, sluggish, or foggy, it could be poor blood flow. If the flag's not going back up the pole, it could be poor blood flow. If they're blowing reveille, instead of like 8 in the morning, it's like, 8 at night, and you can't hear the song when they blow reveille, it could be poor blood flow, if you know what I mean. And I think some of you do. Blood Flow 7 by Juvenon is scientifically designed to support healthy circulation, so you feel energized, clear-headed, and vibrant again. Man, they put some euphemisms in here, didn't they? Packed with natural ingredients like nitrocigine S7 and trans-resveratrol, Blood Flow 7 works by boosting nitric oxide levels. If you know what nitric oxide does, you'll understand my flag reference earlier. It's a molecule that relaxes blood vessels, helping your blood flow freely to every corner of your body. All right, am I done with the innuendos here? That means more oxygen and nutrients to your brain, heart, muscles, and even that place that might need a little extra help as you age. With just one dose a day, you can reclaim your stamina, support heart health, and improve overall vitality, all without any caffeine or stimulants. Try Blood Flow 7 today and feel a difference where it matters most. Inside your veins. That's what they wrote, but you know what they really meant there, don't you? So go ahead and try it. The link's down there in the bottom there. Like I've said, I've tried everything that I offer to you, including, the knife, which we'll get around to later. Yep, I tried everything. I won't do it unless I can actually physically touch it or have to take it. And I've taken it, and trust me. So back to the show. All right, so let's go ahead and see what's going on in the news today, because I think it's very important for us to see some of the stuff that you may have missed, that the media may not be covering, but nonetheless, let's talk about it.
President Trump just got off of Air Force One, arriving at Joint Base Andrews, where presumably he will now head to the White House. The president had two big events today. We saw him in the Oval Office earlier today, speaking with Elon Musk after Musk's departure from the Department of Government Efficiency. We do you know what? We see him taking questions from reporters right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to play out live. Again, this is Trump 30 seconds ago. He just started speaking with cameras. So let's pull up the audio. Let's listen in.
It's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. Not much. We just had $17 billion given. And again, we're going to have control in the U.S. It's going to be a USA deal. The board is controlled. More importantly, the money's built, it's spent on facilities. You can't take them and leave and let's put them in a boat. Somebody said, well, what about that? Supposing they leave. Well, the money's invested on on brick and mortar. You can't lift it up and take it. But I think much more importantly, that's going to be a great partnership. And the company Nippon is coming in with $17 billion plus. So it's going to be fantastic for all steelworkers.
Is it an acquisition? Is Nippon acquiring U.S. Steel?
Investment. It's controlled by the United States. And more importantly, they're spending the money on brick and mortar. You can't take it. What are you going to do? Pick it up and move it to Japan? That's not going to happen. And, I rejected this about 4 times now. And when they finally got it right, I liked it a lot. And you could see how happy the steelworkers were. More importantly, you could see from the union standpoint, the union loved it.
It means thousands of jobs in Pennsylvania, right?
That's many thousands of jobs.
The state of Pennsylvania going forward.
I like this man.
Mr. President, were you aware of Elon Musk's regular drug use?
No, I wasn't. I think he's fantastic.
Can you even believe this is the new Russia P-tape? These people just come out with stuff, and then these reporters just keep spewing it. Hey, do you understand about Elon's drug use? And yet not one of these people, not one, said anything about Hunter Biden, who there's actual pictures. There's actual pictures of Hunter Biden doing all kinds of tawdry stuff, and they completely ignored it like it never was seen. Yet they're going to make up stuff about Elon Musk to try and drum up some sort of scandal. These people are the absolute worst. I tell you, I salute Monica Page and Reagan Reese because they have to deal with these scum every single day. At this point, we don't have a media, we have a scum pond. And these people just wallow around in it. They have no shame whatsoever. They're doing nothing for the country. Nothing. Imagine having a job which has no relevance and nobody cares what the hell you say. I don't even know why the president even talks to these people anymore. I'm going to show you something later on that J.D. Vance says, and we're hearing more and more about podcasts and different people that people actually want to hear. Thank you guys for tuning in. But can you imagine? You have a chance. You have a microphone. You have a chance in the pouring rain to talk to the President of the United States, and you spew some kind of BS like that. You understand about Elon's drug use, right?
Elon is a fantastic guy, and
are you troubled by these reports?
I'm not troubled by anything with Elon. I think he's fantastic. Did a great job, and Doge continues.
You guys ever remember the movie Clear and Present Danger with Harrison Ford, and they find out the president has some sort of friendship or allegiance with this giant drug dealer. And he sits in a meeting. Hey, how are we going to address this? How are we going to, you have to deny it. And he goes, what are you thinking? And he's like, embrace it. Give him nowhere to go. Nowhere. Great guy. And just leave it. And not that I'm saying Elon has any sort of drug problem, but I love the way President Trump just gave them no place to go. It's a great guy. Love it. Next. Your scandal just ended right in front of you. It blew up. You had your chance to ask a question, and the president just went, done. Killed it. There's no place left for you to go. You wasted your question.
And by the time it's finished, we'll have numbers that'll knock your socks off. It's going to be, he did a fantastic job, and he didn't need it. He didn't need to do it. How do you replace
deal final? Has it been finalized?
Fully replaced. He really is.
No,
I have to approve the final deal.
How will it stay in U.S. ownership?
Well, you'll see. I mean, but I have to.
I want you to pay attention what this man is doing right now, which he does not have to be doing. Off in the background there, you're seeing some of the Secret Service, that's what I think they are. They're standing there with umbrellas. Your president walks over to the media where they're standing with umbrellas, and he's standing there with a hat on, getting wet, talking to them. Talk about transparent. This man is standing in the rain. He could say, hey, it's raining. Hey, I got to go, man. I can't talk to you right now. Boldly standing. What you got? And I'm sure they're like, sir, it's raining. I can tell it's raining. I know it's raining. I'm standing right here. It's raining. I'm going to talk to these people. They want to hear something. I'll answer their questions. I'm not Joe flipping in the tank with diaper Biden. I'm going to answer questions. Sir, it's like kind of rainy out here. I'm good.
Approved the final deal with Nippon, and we haven't seen that final deal yet. But they've made a very big commitment, and it's a very big investment. It's the largest investment in the history of the state of Pennsylvania in any deal, not just steel. And it's thousands of steel workers, and not only there, all throughout the country.
Mr. President, do you support the Lindsey Graham Blumenthal bill that would levy sanctions on Russia?
I don't know. I have to see it. I'll take a look at it.
Are you confident that your proposal for a ceasefire in Gaza that was just submitted this week will get approved by Hamas?
I think they want to get out of that mess. They're in a big mess. I think they want to get out of it.
You notice nobody has a question about America. Hey, are all the billions of dollars that you're bringing into the country, trillions of dollars, how do you expect that's going to help Americans, sir? Listen, you just did a great speech in Pittsburgh. You're bringing back Pittsburgh Steel. Yeah, why did it ever go away? Why are you the president who's bringing this back to America? Who was the president who took it away from America, and why? That's the stuff America wants to know. These people, like when we were talking to Monica, I think it was on Friday, I forget the days all run together at this point, they ask their questions that they have in advance that they need answered for some article they're writing. Instead of understanding, you have an opportunity to ask questions to elicit response from the questions that America wants to have answered, and they don't do it.
It deals next week at all, and does this deal today with Nippon sort of overall help your talks with Japan?
Well, Japan very much wants to make a trade deal. I don't think this has much to do with it, but certainly it certainly won't hurt, because we have a very good relationship with Japan. But as you know, Japan is in there right now negotiating as we speak, and they want to very much make a deal. I think the deal I'm most proud of is the fact that we're dealing with India, we're dealing with Pakistan, and we were able to stop potentially a nuclear war through trade as opposed through bullets. You know, normally they do it through bullets. We do it through trade. So I'm very proud of that. Nobody talks about it, but we had a very nasty potential war going on between Pakistan and India. And now if you look, they're doing fine. That was getting very bad. That was getting very nasty. They're both nuclear powers. The Pakistan representatives are coming in next week. And India, as you know, we're very close to making a deal with India.
See, he just did something that most people wouldn't recognize. He told people what he was proud of, what he wants to see happen. That would be the most perfect question to always ask the president in a press conference. First question, what is a priority for you today? What are you most proud of seeing happen yesterday, and what would make you proud tomorrow? And let him tell you what his priority is. Nobody ever asked the president, what are you working on today? What's most important? If I were in the Oval Office and I saw you at the desk, what's most important that you're working on that you can tell us, obviously? News story. And now you know where his focus is. They don't ask these questions. How could you not ask the most important person in the world, what is it that you want to see happen next? That's what I would do. I do it with business people. If you don't ask, they won't tell you. You know, I posted something today, which we're going to get to later, where Gary Keller, who's the founder of Keller Williams Real Estate, the big national real estate company, and he's doing an interview. And I know a lot of you guys don't like the whole finance thing. And the woman on stage with him, Cody Sanchez, asked him, and he tells this story about, and you'll see it, this guy who wanted to do some investing, didn't know how, and he asked him a simple question. He goes, if I had $1 million to hand you right now, what would you do with it? And the guy couldn't answer the question. And he goes, that's your problem. That alone is your problem. If you don't know what to ask, you're done. And it's the same thing politically. I'll go more into it when we get to the business section when I show you that piece. But if you don't know what to ask, then you're done. You've been put in a position to be a White House correspondent, to fly on Air Force One, to do everything that most people who would love to be in that position would die for. And you ask them stupid questions. Question, hey, on the way back from Pittsburgh, what was on your mind? What were you working on as we flew from Pittsburgh? Were you sleeping? Did you have some dinner? Did you make some calls? What was it? Because that would tell me what's most important to the president, if he could tell me. It could be classified. He could say, I can't tell you right now. Okay, I understand you're working on some heavy stuff. But if he could tell you, he'd tell you. And nobody there wants to even ask. So a lot of you who have asked me, Barry, if you were in the White House press conference, what would be the question you would ask? I just told you. I would say, Caroline, thank you for calling on me. I've got one or two simple questions. First question is, what is most important to the president right now today? And then she, hopefully she'd answer that. And then the second question is, what is he most proud of yesterday? And I sit back and I listen to these questions all the time, and I don't understand why you don't want to get into his head. Because obviously he came back. What time did he post that? Let me just pull that up again. All right. So that was posted, that whole thing about Rand Paul, at 3:52 p.m. So he took the time this afternoon at 3:52 p.m. wherever he is. I think he's back at the White House. So he's obviously working on something, because he took the time to post these 4 points. And let me just bring it up again. And when you look at these 4 points, you have to understand at this point, this is the President of the United States, and he puts this out, and he's congratulating Paul. He's talking about Tom Homan. He's talking about the S&P, and he's talking about Senator Rand Paul. None of which these people outside this airplane even brought up. Now, I know you're going to say, well, it was 3:52 p.m. today. It wasn't, last night when he landed. You don't think this stuff was on his mind last night? You may not have known that he was going to talk about Rand Paul. You may not have known he was going to talk about Tom Homan or Paul Ingrassia. You may not, but you could have if you said, what is it you want to see happen tomorrow? Well, tomorrow I'm going to put out a post on Truth Social and tell you what I'm really thinking. But they don't even ask the right questions.
And I wouldn't have any interest in making a deal with either if they were going to be at war with each other. I would not, and I let them know.
Your message is the G7 here in 2 weeks. You're going to Canada. Mark Carney up there obviously has a different view of the world than you do. When it comes to energy, clearly, what's your message going to be at G7 here in a couple weeks?
Well, it's in Canada, and he's a very nice guy, by the way, Mark Carney. I think he's really a very nice person, and we've had some good talks. We'll see what happens.
I hear this kind of stuff, and this is when I think of The Godfather. This is, if any of you have watched The Godfather movie, some of my favorite movies. Some of my favorite, because they'll smile in your face the whole time they're planning on taking you out. You're going to get whacked. Yeah. What are you going to do? I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. They got a smile on his face. And that's when I look at President Trump. He's a stone cold killer. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but he smiles in his face, and he already knows what he's going to do when he sees Mark Carney. He already has it in mind. And these guys here asking these questions don't realize they're talking to the Don Father. And the Don Father, number one, he's not going to tell you, but he's going to smile in your face because you won't see it coming. I use my movie references. You know, remember in Goodfellas, what Ray Liotta said when they showed up after he was freaking out about the helicopters, and they said, "Freeze!" And he said, "I knew right then it was cops, because if it was the bad guys, I'd have never seen it coming." And that movie, or that line in the movie, is so true. He's not telling them. He's not telling the press. He didn't tell the president from South Africa. He didn't tell Zelensky. Obviously, those moves are things he's thought about, but he doesn't lay them out there. And so, the president of South Africa, it's all smiles. Hey, nice to meet you. Yeah, let's sit in the Oval Office. By the way, look at this video right here. Oh, by the way, look at all these articles here. Stone cold killer. You'll never see it coming. And that's specifically why the Democrats are also freaking out, because they don't know at this point where to look. It's coming. We all know it's coming. They see the song and dance by Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino. They see the song and dance by the only person who's not doing the song and dance is Stephen Miller, because he's straight up telling you, we're coming for you. Everybody else has just got a smile on their face. Oh, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. No arrest. Nothing. No, he didn't kill himself. Nothing. That would scare me. If I was one of Trump's enemies, when you put all this together and you see, one, there's no leaks. Somehow they tighten the spigot on that, right? There's no leaks. And number two, every time you see them, oh, everything's fine. Yeah, he killed himself. And yeah, I'm going to go meet with him. And come on into the Oval Office. Come on into the Oval Office. From now on, if I was going into the Oval Office and I was one of his adversaries, I'd be peeking around looking. Is there a video, screen here or something? Because this guy's going to get me, isn't he? Oh, he's coming for you. You ain't even going to see it coming. You sat down there in the office and, how you doing, Mr. Pennant? Mr. Pennant, oh, we don't have no genocide. No, the white people are fine. Oh, really? Let's go to the videotape. Bam! Whew, he never expected that.
Reports that Susie Wiles' phone has been breached and somebody's been impersonating her.
I've heard that, yeah.
Have you heard about that? Do you know anything about the investigation?
She's an amazing woman. She can handle it. But I've heard that they breached her phones or they tried to impersonate her. Nobody can impersonate Susie. Nobody. There's only one Susie.
What's your message to Chinese college students in the United States that want to stay in the United States, don't want their visa revoked?
Well, they're going to be okay. It's going to work out fine. We just want to check out the individual students.
Oh, so did the Mexicans working on the construction site in Tallahassee. Everything's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. Don't have to worry about it. We just got to check some things out. If you were a Chinese student at Harvard and you heard him just say that after what you've seen for the last 4 or 5 months, would you just be okay? Oh, it's going to be fine. We'll be okay. Yeah.
And that's true with all colleges. And I don't know why Harvard's not giving us the list. There's something going on because Harvard's not giving us a list. They ought to give us a list and get themselves out of trouble. But they don't want to give the list because they have names on there that supposedly are quite bad. We want people that can love our country and take care of our country and cherish our country.
I know some people don't like when I stop it, but I often want you to hear the communications that are coming out of his mouth. And this is a guy who's very quiet, obviously, because he has to be. He's a quiet killer. And he just said, there's names on that list, because you're going to get in a lot of trouble. So now he's giving you an indication what the problem is between he and Harvard. Harvard knows the names on this list. Harvard won't disclose the names on the list. What do you think happens or is happening when they realize at this point that Harvard is getting alligator arms giving over this list? It means something's on it. If they had just here, President, there's nothing to worry about here. No, they pulled back and they've got alligator arms. And now what happens when you get alligator arms? It's sort of like, being in a boxing match when they realize you can't lift your left arm. You're a wounded duck. I now know there's a problem. I now know I've wounded you. And you got a problem with me at this point. And I'm coming for you. And he's letting Harvard know.
And for some reason, Harvard doesn't want to give us a list. I would suggest you all get out of the rain now. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good time. Frank, thank you. Come here.
Thank you. Well, I even loved his exit. I suggest you guys all get out of the rain right now. None of these reporters had the deference, had the respect to say, President Trump, you're standing here in the rain with no umbrella. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Nope. They're holding umbrellas and go, hey, President Trump, yeah, do you know Elon was a drug addict? And he's sitting there getting drenched. That's the president I want there. See, I think the message that he sends when he does these things like this, and again, this guy, if you go back and read Art of the Deal, he doesn't waste words. If you followed Trump as long as I have followed him, you will realize he doesn't waste words. His words have meaning. His words and and when he delivers them have always meant meaning. Always had meaning. You see, when you're in a real estate investment world, and he's emeritus class in terms of what he's done, you don't tell people at the table what you're thinking. You don't tell the person you're trying to buy some land with, oh, I'm getting ready to put up a 30-story tower here, and I just need your plot of land so I can go up 30 stories. And of course, because that person then would go, oh, yeah, well, if that's the case, then my property's worth more. You don't tell them that. If you guys, I used to work for Disney, full disclosure. And when they put you through Disney training, they tell you the Disney history. I don't know if some of you guys know this. Some of you guys will hear what I'm about to tell you and go, oh yeah, I remember that. And some of you make me like, OMG, what? Yeah, okay. So here's the Disney story for you. You ready? You ready for this one? When you walk in the Magic Kingdom and you walk in the dentist, you see the dentist store and the bank and the museum and all the different stores along Main Street just as you're walking in. And there's names on these glasses like old time, towns used to be. John Smith, Freddie Jackson, Joe Wilson, they're all there. Dr. Franklin. Okay, wow, they picked these names. Those names weren't just names. When he was in California and he wanted to open up in Orlando, they couldn't get word out that Disney was coming and was trying to consolidate and buy all these lands. And so they sent people over with those names. Hi, I'm Dr. John Smith. I'd like to buy this, this orange grove you have here. Oh, okay. Hey, I'm Fred Wilson. I'd like to buy this piece of the orange grove. Oh, okay. And he assembled all that land under those names and LLCs. And then they brought it together to make Disney World. True story. All those names that when you walk in, you're going to see all those names. And he didn't want people to know, hey, I'm going to build a giant amusement park here in Central Florida, and I'm going to pay, we're going to do all these things and worlds and blah, 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 blah. How much would you have charged if Walt Disney was coming in and building this huge park? You'd have charged like 8 times. Like, hey, he got it. It's the same thing with Trump. You don't tell people what you're going to do. Once you acquire the land, then you go and got to put your permits in and all that stuff. But in the acquisition phase, you don't tell people what you're going to do. You don't let them know what your intended design is going to be. And so Walt Disney magnificently assembled all of that land for Central Florida's Disney World, and nobody knew what was coming until it was time to let them know what was coming. So understand, when President Trump is talking, he's telling people what he wants them to hear. He's not wasting any words. Just wanted to give you that little walk on the inside here. Michelle says, I remember the LLC story. Now China buys our land that same way. Yeah, if you don't know it's coming, You're the one. You're the sucker at the table. And yeah, everybody says, oh, China's buying up all our land. And I always looked at it this way. Nobody forced any of these people to sell to BlackRock or China. Nobody. So you always got to take it back. When people are like, oh, BlackRock, they're out there buying up all the houses and China's buying all the houses. That sounds like people who say predatory loans, like someone broke your arm to take a loan. No one's breaking anyone's arm to sell to BlackRock. They're getting this unbelievable price and go, You don't think you're the ugly guy at the dance and the chicks that are dancing with you are probably doing it because of a bet? It's the same damn thing. No one's offering you $600,000 for your dog house, so there's got to be something behind it. Oh, that's China. Oh, that's BlackRock. You ain't that good looking, talking about your house. That's dirty. Yeah, it's dirty. And by that time, you've sold it. And then you're mad that BlackRock bought it. No, you weren't that mad when you cashed the check. What were you? Seeing my innuendo through that commercial was priceless. Iran secretly enriches enough uranium for 9 nuclear weapons. I could believe that. Barry, one of the reasons why your podcast is great, I didn't say that, is because you do stop, you explain, and some of your funny comments make me really laugh hard. And you know, the other thing is I try to relate my life experiences. And I have made it a point, no matter where my stop was, whether it was at Disney, whether it was at the advertising agency, whether it's been in business itself, I never stop learning. And I keep trying to impart that to Ashley and tell her, hey, listen, do this because here's why. And it may be you need to think 2 or 3 steps ahead. Well, the people who are in BlackRock and China and whoever else, if somebody approaches you and gives you some outlandish price, like, oh, honey, they offered us twice what it's worth, should make you think, right? If your house is worth $300,000 and somebody comes along and says, hey, listen, I'd like to give you buy your house for like $550 cash. Meanwhile, after you get done dancing in the living room thinking you got it made, maybe you should sit back and go, if you're offering me that much money for this house, is there an oil well underneath or something I need to check out? Are they about to build a super highway and they need the land here? See, that's another thing. Okay, let me segue into some financial stuff real quick. If you don't know what the zoning permits are around your property, wherever you live, you don't have all the information. If all of a sudden you start seeing people making offers in your neighborhood or across the street, might want to go check out with your town planner and just say, hey, listen, is there anything happening here I need to know about? Because they're not mailing you. If all of a sudden someone's building a mall right across the street and you don't know it, and the property value is about to skyrocket, that's on you. Because there's guys like me who look at the town planning, who look at the town. You know, a lot of town forecasts have things 7 and 10 years in advance. So if you look at things that were planned 5 and 6 years ago, you know what's coming. I've mentioned to you a number of times, there's a housing development of 600 houses that they're building half a mile south of me, and there are another 500 homes being built about half a mile north of me. So we've got 1,100, 1,200 homes coming in within a mile of where I sit right now. So what do you think everybody's doing? Well, Publix decided, Publix, which is our grocery store, they went, you know what? I know we have a grocery store there, and I know we need a grocery store there, but how about we put a grocery store right between all this? They just opened up another grocery store. When you see large chains, when you see anchors, all of a sudden opening stores or putting up signs saying, oh, it's coming soon. Hey, what's going on here? And then you see guys like me riding around going, hey, you looking to sell that? Because we know. right up the street from us, in addition, next to that neighborhood I'm telling you about, another block or 2 away, all of a sudden, Whole Foods is opening up there. And people are like, can you believe Whole Foods is opening up there? Yep, they're building 600 houses right across the street. That's free. I'm just giving you that. If you've never been to a town planning meeting, if you've never sat in a town planning meeting, it's good entertainment because you'll hear what the people are negotiating to put in your neighborhood, and you never even knew probably until they actually broke ground. And by the time they break ground, it's too late. You've missed the boat. Guys like me are coming in like sharks going, hey, shh, did you hear they're building a new Whole Foods up the street? Yeah. And 600 houses? Yeah. So as soon as they do that, all this stuff's going to be more valuable. Let's get in and buy some of these houses because these people don't know. And then we can offer them more because they think, whoa, you gave me $50,000 more than it's worth. This guy's a sucker. This guy, hurry up, so honey sided. This guy Barry's whacked. And then you find out, oh my God, oh yeah, he knew it was coming. Uh-huh. Yep, he knew it was coming. You didn't. Oops. Same thing with politics. If they don't know what's coming, they can't prepare for it. Yeah, Barry, you're right. Over by me, there was a house for sale that went for rent. They then demolished for a state highway project. Mm-hmm. Yep. If you don't know where they're building roads and gold mines. Gold mines are being mined right in your area, and you don't know anything about it. You drive down the road. Let me give you another hint real quick. You're driving down the road, and you see one of those yellow. Well, here they're yellow signs, and it said, "City zoning hearing next week." That's just a dirt lot. Better get your ass to that hearing. Better get your ass to that hearing when they show the models and everything. Oh, so y'all gonna build like 1,000 houses in that old orange grove, are you? Yeah. Can I get your business card, sir? Yes. Look, let's be talking. Town planning meetings are gold. Absolute gold. You will find out information, and then you'll see some people protesting because they don't want the 1,000 homes there. But in any event, I digress. Let me continue. Oh yeah, these things. Mm-hmm. If you see, I see public storage popping up on Long Island. Yeah, when you see large companies making real estate moves, there's a reason why they're making real estate moves. Also, office moves. People say, "Oh, commercial space is dead." No, it's only dead in places where the places are dead. That, you know what's it called? Nexus or Rexus, whatever. Regis office centers where they come in and you can just get a pre-made office and those kind of things. Why are they doing that? Because business is coming in. All right, so I'll save that for another day because most of you guys don't want to hear it, but just to let you know. All right, let's continue with the video.
Just recent report. It's not proven.
Okay, hold on. I forgot to set this up. Okay. This is Bono, of all people. Bono goes on the Joe Rogan show. And now this new thing that you saw the other day I posted when the guy went on MSNBC said, I think it was yesterday I posted it, where the guy was like, hey, it's 300,000 people dying. They're all dying because of USAID. And I told you, sorry, I'd rather that money be spent on Americans. Wave the flag, red, white, and blue. Let's focus on America. Well, Bono decides it's now his pet project to complain about the poor kids dying in other countries, which is in itself kind of weird. But he posts or talks about the exact same study. Now listen to this. I told you yesterday, or you heard this guy from MSNBC, I've got this study from Boston University that says, well, who the hell wrote it? But now all that has to be done is for people to begin talking about this thing. And everybody's like, hey, did you know, by the way? Well, here comes Bono.
Just recent report. It's not proven, but the surveillance enough suggests 300,000 people have already died from just this cut off, this hard cut of USAID. So there's food rotting in boats, in warehouses. There is this will not, you will not be happy, no American will, but there is, I think it's 50,000 tons of food that are stored in Djibouti, South Africa, Dubai, and wait for it, Houston, Texas.
Okay, Bono. I love your music, by the way. But you bat poop crazy. So there's all this food being stored in, wait for it, Houston, okay? That's just sitting there rotting away. Let me ask you guys a question. I remember all the way back when I was in kindergarten and when they had the trick or treat for UNICEF and everything else, and every time we sent aid to these other countries, you remember ever sending, perishable goods? No, because it's going to Djibouti or whatever. It's usually canned stuff and flour and rice and oatmeal. Ain't nobody sending steak to Djibouti. What do you mean it's going stale? And guess what? It's in Houston. Okay, so there's a warehouse full of food in Houston. Good for people in Houston. This is the biggest crap I've ever heard. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're not sending perishable items out into the desert. And this guy's trying to tell Joe Rogan, it's awful, man. It's just pitiful, man. All this stuff is just spoiling. What's spoiling? That should have been Rogan's next question. Tell me what exactly is spoiling. Because I've done food drives, I've done all kinds of things for the poor people. And the only thing we ever gave out that had a perishable item to it was on Thanksgiving. We went out and we gave turkeys to the poor people. Went to the projects and gave them turkey, handed it to them. Here's your turkey. Everything else, even if you go into a grocery store, what is it? It's canned goods. It's rice. It's oatmeal. It's the stuff they eat on Survivor. Ain't nobody putting, let me put some steak and roast beef in this box. So right away he's lying. No one's sending a refrigerator truck full of milk over to Djibouti. These liberals are absolutely nuts, and they think you're nuts. Now, and I'm not even talking about the fact of, why don't we just keep it here? I mean, that's a whole other argument. I'm worried about his lie right now and the 300,000 people dead. You got any pictures? Hey, Bono, I'm sure you got a jet. Why don't you fly over to Djibouti and take some pictures of the 300,000 graves? Make it make sense. But you go on Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan wasn't having it. No, not at all.
And that is rotting rather than going to Gaza, rather than going to Sudan, because the people who know the codes or for the warehouse are fired. They're gone.
The people who know, what do you think this is? Public storage? They drive up and put the codes in and drive in? They can't think Americans are this stupid. They can't possibly. Go play a benefit concert over there. Go play it for the Sudanese people, and instead of charging money for tickets, have them people send over spaghetti. You're English, bring over some, corned beef and hash or something. What in the hell are you talking about? Man, it makes me... You guys remember Sam Kinison, don't you? Sam Kinison was dirty. I mean, he was dirty, and he had a couple dirty things he said. But I just remember one joke, Sam. It's Saturday. It's Saturday night. It's Saturday evening. Let's talk about Sam Kinison. Sam Kinison did a comedy bit that I remember Robin and I watched it 20, 30 years ago, and we're rolling on the floor. And he's like, hey, we're going over to, Sudan, and we're bringing these people food. And it just dawned on me. We're spending all this money doing this every single year. Why don't we just bring these people to where the food is? We have deserts, we just don't live in them, except Las Vegas. And I'm thinking to myself, we are the world, all these things. You've been shipping food to these places that are godforsaken. Instead of just saying, you know what, maybe we should get you with two-season and people on trucks to move you to where the food is. Or maybe we should get you some prophylactics so you don't keep having kids that you can't feed. But nonetheless, it's our fault, Americans' fault. Maybe they shouldn't be taking Juvenile. Maybe we need to do everything so that maybe their flags don't rise. You're talking about perpetual need. These people have been needy since I was this high in grade school. Every single one of you know the exact same thing. We got to give cups. Hey, here's a cup. We're going to send people on a mission. And I even think of that when I'm in church, and I'm like, we've been sending people on missions for like 80 years. Why don't we just go pick them up? Bring them to other parts of Africa that are industrialized. Not here. But I don't get it. It's a never-ending loss. I'm sorry, I like to consider myself a winner. I want to win. To me, a win would be taking these people to where they can enjoy life. I don't want them out there starving and becoming lion bait. How about we take them to like the industrial place, or how about this? How about to one of these cities in China that are empty? Maybe we just fly them all over there. They're up there blowing up buildings because they can't keep people in these apartment buildings. You've seen it. So why are we spending so much money feeding people who live in places where food doesn't grow, where actually they're the food? How about we take them to someplace where they can live and be taught? Ever think about that? It was a Sam Kinison joke, but he was absolutely right. Why do we just keep 50, 60 years to trick or treat for UNICEF? We are the world. Well, why didn't you take those albums and build houses where they actually could live? Nobody asked that question. No liberals ever want to answer that. And now he's crying to Joe Rogan about, USAID and what Elon Musk did. Man, it's a bad rap, man. These people are dying, man.
And so this, I don't know, what do you think? What is that? That's not America, is it?
Well, they're throwing. Yeah, it's America that you want it to be. Funny. You made the songs, you made the albums, you did all these things. And I'm sure he's done some work for people in need. I don't know if he's done it for people in Detroit. I don't know if he's done it for people in Chicago, Pennsylvania, West Palm Beach, Florida. Why are we always last? That doesn't mean we don't care about people in other countries, but America first has become a bad word. Somebody explain it to me. Somebody explain to me why you wouldn't want your own country strong first. You've heard it many times when you've flown in an airplane. What does it say? Put your mask on first and then take care of the other people. Well, it's time America puts on, well, not that kind of mask, but you know what? Take care of ourselves first, then we can take care of the starving kids. Is that selfish? No. Because we need to take care of ourselves first. We can't exist as a country if we can't. We're $36 trillion in debt. To who? I don't know. Can we take care of that first? Hey, sorry. Right now we're closing ranks and we're going to take care of America. Oh, what a concept.
Be out with the bathwater. Right. This is the problem. The problem is, for sure, there have been a lot of organizations that do tremendous good all throughout the world. Also, for sure, it was a money laundering operation. For sure, there was no oversight. For sure, billions of dollars are missing. In fact, trillions that are unaccounted for, that were sent off into various, they don't even know where because there's no receipts. The way Elon Musk described it, he said if any of this was done by a public company, the company would be delisted and the executives would be in prison. But in the United States, this is standard. When
I can guarantee you, because I've worked on a few shows with you too, and a band of that stature commands huge money. A band of that stature doesn't even get a guaranteed, they get a guarantee, but they get basically a percentage of the ticket prices. It's not just like you can say, hey, we'll give you $1 million, come play. We want $1 million guarantee, but we also want, it's versus 80-90% of the gross. Meaning if you sell 50,000 tickets at $100 a pop, we're going to take 90% of that. It's way over the guarantee. Now let's just say, I don't know, Bono shows up at the arena in Miami, and they sell 20,000 tickets. I'm like, hey man, yeah, how much you bring in ticket sales today? We just brought in like 10 grand. What? Yeah, we only got. It looks like we only got 10 grand here. What happened to the other 4 million? Don't know. But you're due on stage in 10 minutes. I'm not playing. Oh yes, you are. We have a contract. But I'm not getting all my money. So I'm not playing. Oh, so that would be how he would work it. But here, because we have so much fraud, we don't know where the money's going. We can't account for it. We don't know how many tickets were sold. We don't know how many people drank beers. We don't know how many people bought t-shirts. We don't know how many people blah, 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 blah. We don't know how many people paid for the streaming. So you just have to just go with it, okay? What do you think he and the Edge would do? They'd get back on the tour bus and leave. That's America. You see, U2 is America. U2 isn't playing without knowing how much revenue there was. They don't care that the promoter took $3 million and took off to El Salvador or whatever. They want to get paid. So why is it okay for them and not for us? There's no way they would go on stage if they figured out that someone was stealing all the money and sending it to their friends or wherever. They'd like, we need to get paid or we're not playing. Guess what? We're not playing anymore. Thank you, Bono. We're going to do the exact same thing you would do. We're not playing anymore. We're not getting on stage. It's over. It's done. Someone stole all of our ticket sales. There it is. But he doesn't want to hear that, so Joe's giving it to him.
Biden left office when it was clear that Trump won. In the 73 days, they spent $93 billion from the Department of Energy on just radical loans, just throwing money into places. Right. And there's no oversight, no receipts. Like the whole thing is, there's a lot of fraud, a lot of money laundering.
Did you hear him in the background? Right. Well, if you knew what Joe is saying is right, what in the hell are you talking about? Our accounting system is screwed. And we needed Elon Musk to come in and go, hey guys, there's $90 billion they spent here. Where'd it go? I don't know. Why aren't you yelling at the Democrats? You've had 4 years. Trump's been in there 4 months, 5 months. In 4 years, hundreds of billions and gazillions of dollars have flown into it. Where? And no one in the media is going, why didn't you take care of the kids in Djibouti? Well, he didn't feel like it. I had to line my pocket, needed a new yacht. But the kids in Djibouti are starving. Oh, Trump will feed them. We don't care. Get out of my office. That's why you can't trust these people in the media. The questions you're asking now and the freaking out that you're having now, you didn't have then, and those kids were still starving last week, 6 months ago. They didn't start starving today. And you're telling me that you think 300,000 kids are dying in Djibouti and Sudan and everything else because Elon Musk stopped USAID? Well, then you'd have to show me the receipts that they were getting it before. Nobody asked those questions. Because all of a sudden, if they're dying, then something had to stop. And if something stopped, you should have the receipts that showed the flow. So show me the food that was coming to Djibouti on a monthly basis for gazillion dollars, and we can talk. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Oh man, it's horrible. Good question. So somebody asked me, where is Djibouti? I have no idea. I just like the way it sounds. maybe because it's Juvenon. I don't know. Djibouti. It's. I always wanted to think what if I would owned a city or if I was a mayor, I'd like to call it Djibouti. I mean, not Djibouti. It would be Djibouti. And we just like, hey, what do you guys do with Djibouti? What do you think we do in Djibouti? I have no idea where it is. Just got a cool name. Oh, Djibouti is in Africa. Okay. William Glenn, look right behind you. Bono loves to cry and be self-righteous. Absolutely. Oh, man. Bono can go pound sand. And you know what's funny about that? Just to let you know. it doesn't change the way I feel about his music. I love U2. I've always loved U2. I love U2 since the first time they came on the scene. He's crazy. Maybe he should have kept his mouth shut, but I love their music. Does it make me a bad person? No. Does it make me a hypocrite? No, because I don't like him because of him. I like the music. Like I told you yesterday, I like Elton John. I like Melissa Etheridge. I like a lot of people who I don't agree with private lives or their political views. I like the music. Now, that's not saying I'm going to buy another Bruce Springsteen album ever, or buy another Bruce Springsteen ticket ever. But I like some of their music. We don't hate the news enough. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. Actually, Barry, I believe we are. Somebody says, I believe we are now in Act 3. This movie is about to end. Trump and the military have been at it since 2016. You could be right. Hey, BLS, it's not your beauty, it's your booty. It's the booty. Oh, it is Saturday night. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm just a little bit silly here. Had a nice day. Hope you guys all had a very nice Saturday. Most people don't do any, podcast on Saturday, especially not on Saturday night. I guess I'm getting too old because we're trying to think, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to go eat, or we may go down to the casino. Casino's open 24/7, so there's no time crunch, except if I go down too late, then I can't play in a poker tournament, and I end up playing with, old people. And I don't know if you've ever seen some of these old people play, because you have to play at a table, and you're like, can you just take the damn card? I just can't. It's horrible.
Now that I am no longer a teacher, thank God, I can finally...
Okay, let me set this one up. So obviously, many of you know that Ashley was a teacher. And Ashley has told me many of these stories about this kid. This woman is a black woman, obviously. And she's out here telling the world what's going on in these black schools. Maybe not even a black school, maybe a mixed school. But it's horrible. It appalls me when I hear these Democrats get out there and scream about education money. When you hear stories like this, it just makes your heart break. I mean, literally, makes your heart break when you hear these kind of stories. Listen to what she has to say. I'm not going to interrupt this one too much.
We say the things that have been on my mind all school year. Okay? As somebody that taught high school and basically educating our new young adults, we should all be scared. Every last one of us should be scared. These kids cannot read, they cannot write, there is no type of comprehension skills, no type of critical thinking. They cannot do anything on their own. They expect everything to be taught to them. Well, I won't even say taught. They expect everything to be given to them. So in my class, we did this thing where I made them write once a week. So they would have some type of assignment where they would have to write at least a paragraph, meaning 5 sentences. 5 sentences. The amount of assignments that I got in with 1 sentence, 2 sentences, the amount of complaints I got with the whole 5 sentences, that's too much. Can we do 3? Isn't 3 considered?
I have to stop right there because I don't know when you grew up, but when I grew up, I didn't have the option of arguing with my teachers. See, that in itself is wrong. The fact that these kids felt, 1, they're going to disobey her. Hey, I need 5 sentences. Here's 1. Shut up. 2, you're going to complain to the teacher. I don't know if I got beat too much as I was a kid, but I didn't know I had those options. I didn't know I could tell a teacher, nah, here's 1. That's all you get. Nah, I don't like this. Huh? You can let me know in the chat if you had those options growing up to tell the teacher, go pound sand, here's something, and it's not nearly what I've asked you to do. I wouldn't go home that night. No, I can't even imagine because it would never happen. That's the worst part about it. As I go through experiences in my life and I think back to where I was as a kid growing up, even in high school, it never crossed my mind to argue with the teacher. It never crossed my mind that it would be okay to give in insufficient work. I would try my best. I would do whatever I need to, but I wouldn't just say, here. I don't care. It's too much. No. This is where we've broken society, where kids feel it's okay to tell a teacher, what has happened? Well, for the most part, I guess you can say it's parental malpractice. It was never an option with me. I was a big kid. As big as I was, playing football and everything else, diminutive teachers in front of me. Never crossed my mind to tell a teacher, go F yourself, I'm not doing it, and take this one sentence and be done with it. Stop bothering me. No. No.
Your paragraph? Oh, baby. We are in for a wild ride, y'all. Every assignment that I gave them, I kid y'all not, every assignment that I gave them, there was several students that came to my desk and asked me to walk them through the entire assignment, the whole thing. But
I only thing I wish that she would said what grade she's teaching, unless I missed it, because I just can't imagine. I can't imagine at any grade. You see, if a teacher gave me an assignment that I didn't understand, that usually meant I needed to do more work, or go home and say, "Hey, Mom, I don't understand what she's saying here. What should I do?" Which rarely ever happened anyway, because I got good grades. Because my thing was, and some of you guys are probably this way, I didn't ignore assignments. I would chew them up as fast as I can so I could get back to what I was doing. Yeah, some people had learning disabilities and were slower. Mine was just the opposite. What do you want me to do? Okay, done. I'm jumping, going with the boys right now. We're going to ride a bicycle, go play some football, play some basketball or baseball. And my mom would look at it and go, okay, you did it. Okay, go ahead. But never. I would have never. I shudder to think right now in my elder days here saying, I ain't doing it. Those words couldn't even be formed.
Genuinely, the truth of the matter is everybody is failing these kids. Everybody. The school board with all these different rules, they're failing these kids. The principals or admin altogether, they're failing these kids, and they're failing the teachers because they're basically telling us that we had to just pass a child along just to keep these graduation numbers up. So everybody. Oh, and don't get me started on the parents. Like, I would call and say, hey, your child is failing, and the first thing is, well, why didn't I know about this?
Hey, yeah, your child is stupid. Yeah, man, your child is failing. They can't read or write. Why didn't I know about this? Well, let me just tell you, Mama, you ain't parenting. If you was doing something with your kids, you would know that little Johnny can't read and can't add, and he definitely can't write. And I'm sorry, rap lyrics aren't writing. It ain't working. How could you as a mother go, why didn't I know about this? Maybe that's why they're taking kids and lopping off their junk, because parents don't. If a parent doesn't know the kid can't read or write, maybe the parent won't notice that the junk's gone. So we can do that. Parent ain't gonna know. Just go to the bathroom, pretend like you're going to the bathroom, even though you don't have any junk anymore. They don't know. And as soon as I heard her say that, I was stunned that a parent said, why don't I know this? My answer would have been, well, that's the question I was going to ask you. Why don't you know about this? Your kid can't read, can't write, can't do arithmetic, can't do any of this stuff, and you're wondering why you didn't know. At that point, call child services because the woman just told you she's abusing her kids. She's not even taking the time to see if the kid can read. We're in trouble. Even if President Trump fixes everything, certain communities in this country are toast. I don't know if you guys saw what was going on in Tallahassee, where they drove up, ICE did, and they went to a construction site and surrounded it. And basically it was like catching fish in a net with all the newcomers that they were just rounding up. And I had posted, well, there's about to be a whole lot of jobs for Americans. We're gonna have a job boom like you don't even believe. And a couple people in the comments were like, except for the fact that Americans can't do those jobs. And I'm like, oh God, you're probably right. You're probably right. We have groomed a legion of orcs who can't do anything. Can't read, can't write, can't do any arithmetic, and all they know how to say is free Palestine. Big trouble. And I couldn't believe this was true, and Ashley said to me, yeah, that's what's happening in public schools. That's why a lot of teachers are like, I can't deal with this. There's no parental influence. They're not, helping the kids to learn. They ain't even feeding them. They're standing in the school. Go feed my kid breakfast. Are you working? No, but Jerry Springer's about to come on. I can't miss that, yo.
Probably because you didn't answer the phone. Probably because you didn't respond to my emails. On top of that, you have 24-hour access to Power School. When I tell y'all it is horrible, like...
All right, so any of you guys who... that's something I don't know nothing about. What is Power School? So there must be some program you can access online to help teach your kids. So anybody know what Power School is? Please tell me what Power School is. And what grades access Power School. That would be something we could all learn or something right now. If you guys don't know, waiting for the chat to update Power School. What is Power School? Still waiting. Power School. I don't see anybody asking about telling me what Power School is. All right, but in any event, something about Power School. These kids can't. The parents are okay. Oh, thank you. From a former teacher, Ashley. She got home. Power School lets you see all of their grades. So I guess you can log in at any time, as this woman has said, 24/7, and you can see whether little Johnny can read or not. But this woman is telling you about some of these parents aren't even taking the time to log in and see what the hell's going on in their school system.
The parents that are here now are not the parents that we had growing up. My parents checked my Power School weekly.
And this woman is probably 30 years my junior. At least 20 years my junior. So she's we're in really bad shape if she's like, yeah, I wasn't raised this way. So if she's saying, man, these kids are screwed, and she's saying, I wasn't raised this way, we're talking about another generation behind her that are completely toast. Can't read, can't write, can't do arithmetic. I bet you they can do this all day. That's about it. That's the skill set. That's all they got. Twerking. Man.
Weekly. And still to this day, my brother just graduated high school a few weeks ago, and still to this day, his grades were checked. Everybody's grades were checked. So, unfortunately, it's not these kids' faults. I mean, yeah, they're lazy, but like, what are you supposed to do when all you gotta do is tell your mama, well, she failing me? And the school board is gonna accommodate that parent. Like, it's crazy, y'all. We should be very scared for our new nurses, our new doctors, our new everybody. These colleges are going to have to start lowering their requirements. They're going to have to start lowering just lowering everything, because the way that stuff is going now, the amount of kids that are going to come into these schools and they cannot read, they cannot write, they cannot do anything without AI.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We may have found the problem, Houston. We may have found the problem. These kids can't do anything without AI. When I heard her say that, and Ashley and I had exchanged this video, well, when I heard that, I was like, oh man, it's supposed to enhance your life, not take care of you. You're now going in and going, hey, Gemini, what's 2 plus 2? 4. Okay, thank you. They're not even doing homework. They're not even learning. They're completely cheating and using ChatGPT and Gemini and everything else to try and bypass learning. And then they get mad and hold strikes because Starbucks tells them you got to actually wear a uniform. You know, when I first started wearing a uniform, maybe some of you guys can remember this. I went to Catholic school. You know when I first started using a uniform? Yeah, first grade. From first grade all the way through. I went to even Catholic high school. So the whole 12 years, you wore a uniform. The girls had these ugly plaid skirts, and the boys had to wear white shirts with ties, and then when you got to high school, you even had to wear a jacket. Which is probably why I hate wearing sports jackets now, but in any event, we had uniforms. So here we are, okay, going back 30, 40 years where uniforms were just part of the deal. You played football, you wore a uniform. You played baseball, you wore a uniform. You were a Girl Scout, Boy Scout, which I don't know which one is the other at this point. You wore a uniform, but you don't want to wear a uniform at a job. So I don't know. I mean, hang on to your doctors. Hope they don't retire. Hang on to your accountants, your bankers, all the people that you have built your circle around. Hang on to them because the people coming behind them, we're passing them along, giving them diplomas so that they can do backflips and twerking at a commencement ceremony, but they can't do anything to help you. That's terrifying. That's absolutely terrifying. Yep, my kids went to Christian school. They wore uniforms every day. Didn't even question it. You know why you didn't question it? Because your mother said, this is what you got to wear. I don't feel like wearing a tie and a white shirt. You are? Yeah, you do. I went to Catholic school as well. Same here, Barry. 8 years uniform. Catholic high school dress code strict. You want to know how strict our dress code was? The white kids couldn't have hair go below their collar, so there was no long-haired kids. They had to have it cut. And all males, white or black, you couldn't have facial hair whatsoever. And if you went to school and they thought your facial hair was a little bit too long, they dry shaved you. And if ladies may not know what that feels like, but it just feels like someone's raking your face with like an ice pick. Just doing, yeah. You didn't do it again. You made sure if you came to school, you had taken a shave. And of course, they cut your hair, which was often funny. It was also often the comedic relief in high school because we would watch all the white kids have to get their hair cut. Meanwhile, we're walking around with a big fro. Excuse me, I can't get in the door right now. Whoa, hey, hold the door. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm in. Okay, yeah, I'm in. But it's not below my collar, so I'm good, right? Oh, you can't see back there? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah. I ain't got to cut this, right? Nope. Until you went to football practice, and coach said, what the hell is on your head? That's my fro, coach. You like this? Yeah. Where are you going to put that? What do you mean? When you put your helmet on. Oh, I forgot all about that. Yeah, you thought you were a big tough guy going to school. Grew it all summer. Hid it from your dad. Stuffed it in a hat so he wouldn't see it. And then you got to school and picked it all out. Took the pick. Made it blow it out. Did the blow beat. Blow it out and stuff. And walked into school like this. And then the football coach said, guess what's going to happen after school? But you know what I'm saying. We we couldn't get away with this stuff.
We should be scared. We should really be scared. Have a great day.
I guess you said, yeah, you're going to be scared. Have a great day. I think more teachers need to be doing that. I think more teachers need to be sounding the alarm. Your kids are stupid. And if you don't be checking Power School, like she said, whatever Power School is, then you are to blame as a parent. I'm sorry, did I insult anybody? Too bad. I find it to be of no excuse unless someone has difficulty why they can't be doing their homework and trying to be contributing members to society beyond twerking and making rap songs. Just like with football, everybody's not going to get a gold record on a rap song. Ain't going to happen. So you better have something else to fall back on. And rap music is getting played at this point, so I don't know what you got to do. Yeah, I had that too. Lorena says, we had a summer reading list, at least 5 books. I always read voraciously. I overachieved of 10 to 20 books during the summer break. I remember, I think it was my sophomore year, and the first thing that they handed me was like, you got to read this next week. And it was Summer of 42. Seriously, you're giving me a love novel to read? You don't have like Catcher in the Rye with the bad words or something? I got to read this thing? Summer of 42? That was the hardest book ever for me to read. I could not believe I was forced to read Summer of 42. I went through Catcher in the Rye like it was a comic book. I couldn't put it down. Give me more of that. But Summer of 42? No way. Skirts had to touch the floor when you knelt down. I didn't know they had a test like that for women. Wow, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. It's harder today because many homes only have one parent. I'm going to have to disagree with you, Cynthia. See, my parents divorced when I was 11. When I was 11 years old, my parents divorced. And it didn't matter whose house I was staying at. It didn't matter if I was at my grandma's house, either grandma's house, my mom's place, my dad's place. It didn't matter. Wherever I stuck my butt, you can bet the next question before you eat, put that fork down. Put the fork down. Let me see your books. Didn't matter where I was. I used to think I could sneak out of it. Hey, Mom, I'm going to go eat dinner at Grandma's. Is that okay? Yeah, okay. Hey, he's on his way over. Oh, okay. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, we're going to have some dinner. Oh, yeah. You got your books with you? Huh? Go home and get your books if you're going to have dinner here. All right. Let me go to my other. My grandparents lived within like 3 blocks of where we lived. And so I just go to the other grandparent. Hey, yeah, you having dinner? What do you got? Oh, okay. Hey, how'd you do in school today? Oh, it was fun. Where's your books? Oh, not you too, huh? It was like a mafia. I'm like, all right, let me take my butt home. All right. So no, it didn't matter that there was one parent in the house because that one parent had a network. And I swear to God, they didn't have cell phones and texts and everything else, but they all knew, including the neighbors and the friends' parents, what the heck was going on. Don't give him nothing when he comes over there. He hasn't done his books yet. Never had to be said, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, their moms aren't in the picture, and their fathers aren't in the picture, and their moms don't discipline. Exactly. My parents were divorced, but they should have been. Barry, totally agree. My aunt was the worst. Oh, some of my aunts and uncles growing up. Oh boy. Oh, Barry, here in Oklahoma, teachers have been sounding the alarm, but no one is listening. Politicians are in control. Scary. Very, very, very scary. All right, let me finish this out.
Today, I had the opportunity to both observe immigration court and observe undercover, well, I shouldn't say undercover, and observe plainclothes officers wearing masks.
Psst. Plainclothes officers wearing masks are undercover, moron. The whole idea of wearing masks and obscuring what you look like means because you don't want people to know who you are, and it is indeed undercover. Whew. This is an actual member of Congress.
arresting and detaining immigrants who were here to appear in front of a judge as part of their court case.
I think you left out a qualifying word before the word immigrant. I think most of us could tell you what that clarifying word is, the quantification of the immigrant. But when you get on television, it's okay to spew this BS. We understand.
This is Gestapo-like behavior, where plainclothes officers wearing masks are terrorizing immigrants who are doing the right thing.
Can you imagine being a reporter and this idiot is saying this stuff to you and you're not saying, excuse me. They were plainclothes? Yeah. And then they had like masks on? Yeah. So, where I come from, we call those undercover people. No, that's not. No. They're not undercover. They're Gestapo. They're Nazis. Why, were they dragging people out and putting them in, trains? No. Were they gassing them up? No. Were they torturing them? No. Were they pulling their teeth out so they can get the gold out of their teeth? No. Were they doing experiments on them? No. So, what kind of Gestapo is this? Idiot.
By going to court, following up on their immigration proceedings, and trying to come into this country lawfully, which is through asylum. I worked with the Department of Homeland Security. I worked with ICE agents. I worked with Homeland Security's investigations. I have never seen any plainclothes officer wearing a mask. And I asked them, why are you wearing a mask? One person told me, because it's cold. I asked him if he would testify to that under oath, and he walked away and wouldn't respond to me. Another person admitted that they're wearing masks so that they are not caught on video. And my question to them is, if what you are doing is legitimate, is lawful, is totally above board, why do you need to cover your face?
Meanwhile,
it looks like Mayor O'Connell was involved in some sort of obstruction or the harboring of criminal illegal aliens in the great city of Nashville. But also just last night, his office put out the names of Homeland Security investigators and doxed our ICE enforcement officers. They claimed it was a mistake. There's zero chance it was a mistake, and there will be repercussions. Our ICE enforcement officers are already facing a 400% increase in assaults against them, and he's essentially handing over intelligence to these criminal gangs so that they can target our ICE enforcement officers. It's wrong, and it's beneath the city of Nashville, and I hope he will face consequences.
Wow. So now you know why. In case you didn't realize while they were wearing masks, now you absolutely know why. Because there's other libnuts like yourself who are doxing these people and putting their lives in danger. We're in trouble in so many ways. I think he's a congressman in New York as well. And New York was having people, arrested for people aren't supposed to be here. Notice when he was saying who the people were that got arrested. I loved how he said it. These are people who are trying to do the right thing. Well, maybe if they tried by not coming across the border, they wouldn't be getting tossed out. The logistics in terms of linguistics, in terms of how they even speak, is absolutely insane. It's crazy in terms of what they say, how they say it, and I got no time for it. These people are completely crazy. Let me see here. This thing never updated. Actually, it didn't update again, so, all right. So I guess I can't do anything here. That's weird. That's very weird. Let me see if I go ahead and refresh what happens. If I refresh, am I still connected? Yeah, I'm still connected. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out something here. Why is something not working? All right, in any event, it's not working. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do Super Chats, and then we're going to jump over to Rumble. I hope to jump over to Rumble because right now, just letting you know, I'm talking to myself as I'm looking at the board, and it's showing me that there are no people watching on Rumble, which I don't know if that could even be possible. Hold on one second. Let me go ahead and play this what do you call it? This bit from Lear Capital so I can check Rumble, because something, before I jump over, I want to make sure you can actually see over there on Rumble. So I will be right back. We're in a very volatile time right now. There's plenty of financial uncertainty. Now is not the time to be speculative. And I'm also speaking from a personal perspective. I'm buying income-producing real estate, and I'm buying gold and silver. A lot of people don't know the difference between the economy and the stock market. And too many people listen to the news and social media. That'll get you in trouble. Let's face it. It's obvious that a lot of people have an agenda they're not telling you about. Right now, your best bet is stability. And that means you might need to build a hedge against global volatility. May I recommend gold and silver to you? Real gold and real silver. Not paper, not certificates. Actual gold and silver. What gold and silver can give you is absolute peace of mind. A stock is only as good as the company behind it. It's merely a piece of paper. One of the things I can tell you is that many people are finding out the hard way that some of their investments were built on quicksand. Gold will never be worth zero. Silver will never be worth zero. If you want to calm some of your fears, give my friends at Lear Capital a call today at 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. Just so you know, Lear Capital has over 27 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, and over $5 billion in trusted transactions. And Lear is the only gold company with a 24-hour risk-free purchase guarantee. You don't pay unless you're 100% satisfied. So go to learberry.com. If you want peace of mind, give my friends at Lear Capital a call at 800-601-5430. Or look down here below and go to learberry.com. And don't forget to ask about getting up to $15,000 in free gold or silver with a qualifying purchase. Don't wait. Do it now. Nobody knows what tomorrow holds. Be safe. All right, so we're going to jump over to Rumble after I do Super Chats. It seems like it's working. I can't see it, but I see a bunch of you guys are talking about it. Ashley, if you can hear me, it's their back end. The back end shows 0. So I'm just going to take it for what it is and that people can actually see it. But I can't see any people watching over there. But obviously, everybody, or a bunch of people are. All right, so we're going to be jumping over momentarily. Let me go ahead and read the Super Chats. Got some different music for you tonight on a Saturday night. I hope you guys will enjoy. Okay, what happened here? Let's see here. All right, let me do the Super Chats right now. I just gave you a hint right now. All right, Starfleet, thank you. MH, we are winning. Let's effing go. Magadonians. I like that. I haven't heard that. Magadonians. Grok gives breakdown of whom the U.S. owes debt. I will have to ask that question. Just another knucklehead. No problem with the shirt. You know, we just assume you're wearing pants. No need for proof. FYI, my blood flow is perfectly fine, sir. Congratulations. TV, Barry, we are not here to see your wardrobe or judge it. We are just here the real news. Thank you very much. Tilly, hello. In my humble opinion, I feel the media news is doing and saying what they're being paid to say and do. Agreed. Lupe Maria wanted to thank you. I've been having fun, bought Bitcoin, gold, silver, and was able to buy SpaceX Venture Fund. I don't even know about that. I'm going to have to look into that. Thank you. Larry, 1754. Read the blood flow. Are there any contraindications or unwanted side effects from it? Their webpage says nothing about that, yes or no. Nitrous oxide is I don't know what you would call it. I wouldn't call it a amino acid possibly, but the one thing I would think you'd be if you're probably taking a statin or if you're doing any blood pressure medication, you might want to check with a doctor before you actually should check with a doctor before you take anything. Quick story. Let me just tell you a quick story. So I wanted to lose weight, and intermittent fasting was the big thing, and people were, hey, let's go intermittent fasting. You stop eating at a certain time and you fast, and then you wait until you eat. And I'm like, I can do that. Hey, you lost 20 pounds, you lost 20. Yeah, let me try some intermittent fasting. I almost killed myself. One day I'm sitting there and I'm getting woozy, and I'm like, Robin, I can't move. I can't get off the bed. There's something wrong. And she's like, well, how do you feel? I said, I just feel like I can't get off the bed. And she's like, should I call an ambulance? And I'm like, no, get me a car, take me to the hospital. I go into the hospital, and they start taking the blood and the tubes and everything. And he's like, your sugar level is like 300. I'm like, what? Because I had been doing intermittent fasting, it was like I put diesel into a gas-powered car, and my body just revolted. I was in the hospital for 3 days, drinking fluids and magnesium and everything until the numbers went back into where they were supposed to be. They thought, hey, are you diabetic? I'm like, not that I know of. Well, your sugar level is worse than a diabetic, 300. And so I had to stay there. They're like, no, we can't release you. What do you mean? You're going to stay until we can figure out what the hell's going on. So over the next 2 or 3 days, they flushed me with fluids and fed me and everything else until all the numbers went back into whack. So, yeah, before you take any sort of supplements that you don't know, if you have a quick, ask your doctor, because that was the thing I learned right away. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not just going to do, I'm not 25 anymore. I just can't do anything. It scared me straight, that was for sure. So I always tell people now, check with a doctor. And it should be pretty easy, because anybody's insurance usually comes with telehealth. And so it doesn't cost you anything. Just go through your telehealth. You don't even have to make an appointment. And then, hey, listen, I'm getting ready to take this stuff, and here's what's in it. Is it okay with me? And they'll pull up your charts and everything. Like, yeah, sure. Or not. Mama Tracy, if you want to hear some real truth, listen to some George Carlin. Yeah, he was telling the truth decades ago. George Harmon, the cure is not lucrative for what you're doing to these kids. Djibouti, your Djibouti is behind you. Stephen Hale, thank God for your wisdom, knowledge, and research. Thank you. And can you see John? Yeah, and John Owens as well. Okay, so my dashboard with what do you call it? What's the name of the thing? Rumble is all screwed up, so I'm just going to take a leap of faith here. You guys know the drill. Go ahead and meet us over there. I'm going to play the golfing break, and when you come back from the golfing break, we'll get the second half of the show going. All right, see you. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Check us out on Rumble.